It says we're live.
We are live.
All right. Matt, you want to kick us off and get started?
Sure, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Matt Zimbrowski with Agile Game Changers. This gentleman next to me is my brother Adam with Hospiamo, and we are live. Hey, bro.
Hey, man. For anyone of you wondering, yes, we are actual brothers. This aside, he got the hair gene. I got the
Good-looking gene.
Yeah. Sure, I'll take that. I am hearing a little bit of an echo from somebody there, just to maybe keep an eye on that. I'm not sure. But thanks, bro. I would say we are here today to John St. Omer will come right back, I think. I'll keep an eye on him for logging back in. So we're here to honor people in business and hospitality and tourism and entrepreneurship, and specifically mentors who helped us get to where we are. And these wonderful individuals, John St. Omer, Derek Farley, Dave Waldman, and Chuck Cooper. They're friends, they're colleagues, known them for a long time. And I would say the thing that keeps them together is a very similar bond that I have with many people that I used to work with, which is they've accomplished what they thought was impossible at a younger age and did something that they're very proud of. And we're here to talk about who helped them get there and why that was meaningful. How's that, bro?
That's perfect. Great intro there. We got a number of people joining. We're also, just to point out, we're streaming live on multiple platforms right now, bro. I think we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube,
and then TikTok and Instagram, I think, and then yeah, if I'm not going to do a TikTok dance, so I will say yes. We are live on YouTube. We are using StreamYard as a back-end technology that allows us to see the comments from people that are viewing this. So please, if you're viewing this, John Cardonia, I just saw you popped up and said, I'm trying to get my camera open on here. But John, I love your beautiful face, but you don't need a camera, man. Just watch our beautiful faces for now. So we're seeing them come up, right, Matt? And then
yep,
Matt just Claudia.
Yep, she's very excited to hear everyone's insight. Thank you. Welcome, Claudia. Welcome to everyone. And we don't want to belabor the welcomes too long because we have a lot to cover. This is only a 30-minute live broadcast. For those of you who missed it, you're watching our replay. Feel free to add comments afterwards. Reach out to us afterwards. But let's hop right in, bro. I know we got a packed agenda. There's a lot to go through.
I got my agenda right here. All right, it's very professionally done, and it's the what, who, and why. So we are going to start with Chuck Cooper because Chuck did something that I find currently to be impossible, but I hope to maybe someday. He wrote a book, got it published, and then he spoke the audio book, and it's on Amazon. It's called Unprecedented, and I'm just so proud to see Chuck. He's joining us from the Dominican Republic on vacation with his family. Dude, thank you so much for being here. Chuck, what is something that you accomplished in your life that you're proud of and that you previously thought was impossible?
With you and everyone on this call today. I was excited to get the invite. And so as I thought about this question, I think there's really two things that come to mind. And I know we're trying to keep this really short, so I will do my best to communicate as concisely as possible. The first thing that you mentioned, Adam, was the fact that if you would have told me whenever I was in my 20s that I would author a book and also be open to the idea of public speaking to small and mid-sized companies and groups around the U.S., I would never have believed that, because I had no interest in reading. I had no interest in ever writing a book. But that is something that has come about over time, and I feel really good about the product that's out with the book, and also with the fact that we're able to engage with as many people as we are today in small and mid-sized business communities around the U.S. The second thing that I would mention that I would have thought was totally impossible was having huge success early on in life and reaching a mountaintop and falling from the mountaintop to the lowest valley, and being able then to over time to be able to scale that mountain back up and to continually move further and further up to the closer to the mountaintop. So I think those are two things that for me, it's just, if you'd have told me whenever I was in my 25, I would have thought were totally impossible. So
I'm seeing a lot of head bobs here, Chuck. You're speaking the truth, and you're speaking to a lot of people, and I think that you are very much not alone in that the hills and valleys of life and career. You're an inspiration for that, and so thank you. Who helped you? Did you have a mentor that was effective in kind of lifting you up and being there?
That is something that I did not have in my life early on that I think has been a huge value add for me over the years. I've had a series of mentors, a series of coaches that have come alongside me and have walked and kind of served as my guardrails for probably about the last 30 years of my life. And I think that the one person that really stands out today is David Norman. And he has spent many years in the Charlotte area as a Vistage chair, and he's just become a really good friend. But the thing is, he was always one that was willing to speak truth into my life, whether I wanted to hear it. He knew when I needed to hear it, and he did not have a filter, so he did not sugarcoat anything. So he gave me the real deal at the right time, and it made a huge impact in my life.
Well, Mr. Norman can expect a communication from us, recognizing him as being a great mentor and many other things. But just that's really great that you're recognizing that. And you got a couple of nice little nuggets there. Guardrails, speaking the truth to you, and no filters. Those are great people to have around you. I think you expressed the why, but is there anything else that you wanted to add about why that was so impactful to you?
It's, when we go through life, especially as individuals, as men, as entrepreneurs, there's just times in our thought process, a lot of times where we just don't see things clearly. And so having those people as mentors or coaches around you to kind of, again, to be able to bounce ideas off of, it's amazing. The comes from being able to have people like that to talk to, and it can kind of just keep you on the straight and narrow. Because if we make those big mistakes early on in life, those can definitely be life-defining moments. But it doesn't mean that life is over with at that point. And so having those people that serve as your guardrails, it just really helps make that journey so much more effective and more really more efficient. But I think also the relationships, the friendships that come from that is really something that I think we're all really desiring to have, is that connection with other people that are like-minded and that can help you. So that's one of the reasons that having mentors and having David in my life was as impactful as it was.
Thanks, Chuck. And thanks for spending time with us when you're on vacation in the Dominican Republic. And give you another plug there for your book. Jump on the Amazon, look up Unprecedented, Chuck Cooper. It's about employee engagement. It's about just some amazing things that people should hear. A lot of us exist here because of engaging with our team members and engaging with our mentors. Thanks, Chuck. So we are moving on to Mr. John St. Omer.
Hey, everyone.
I would say a hospitality legend. To me, and I would say many others, probably thousands, to be honest, because John is currently a Marriott general manager. He and I share many mentors, actually. We worked together for many years. One mentor I know that we share is Mr. Marriott. John and I had been through that training, and we learned the mantra of take care of your people, they'll take care of your guests, and the profits and revenues fall into line. But it starts with your people. So, John, you've been an inspiration to me from the day that we met. Actually, you were a competitor the day that we met because we were both managing Courtyard by Marriott's in the same market, and you were a godlike figure then, and I was so intimidated by you. But eventually, we were able to work together. So, John, my brother, your what, your who, and why about accomplishing the impossible. Who helped you get there, and why is that important to you? You want to start that off, my
Well,
friend?
well, let's get this out of the way first. Chuck, I am really jealous of where you are right now. Okay, the Dominican Republic. Oh my God. So my who was a fellow GM years ago, and we're great friends today. His name is David Heyman. David Heyman for years was the general manager at the Sheraton in Syracuse, New York. But when at a young age, when I started out with David as his assistant, back then in a Wellesley Inn. I don't know if you guys go that far back, but they used to have some Wellesley Inns all over the country. David, even before I knew I had the Marriott mantra in me, but you can easily say that, but to execute it on a day-to-day basis, it can be difficult. And what he taught me more than anything else was don't take it personal. And how to really motivate your staff, which is always be in the battlefield with your staff as much as possible. You gain the respect, you gain a loyalty, which is the key in our business. One, it goes way back to when even stop to listen to the housekeeper. Stop to make sure instead of taking that pen out immediately to reprimand someone, find out what's going on. Why this star performer all of a sudden is not performing the way they generally perform. And that today has resonated and brought me to where I'm at currently. I'm in Center City, Philadelphia, where I'm enjoying every moment of it. And it's a really tough market when it comes to the job market. And all of these properties are vying for associates. So the key is to hire, train, and retain. And I got that from another mentor who and yesterday Adam and I were talking, and I said to him, this may be backwards, but I learned a lot from the people who taught me how not to treat others.
Yeah, that's real.
You know, yeah.
How not? Yeah, learn from what not to do.
Not to do, more than the ones who taught me what to do. Because I don't want to be that person that make that other person walk away feeling like they're less than. I'd rather someone walk away feeling that they're elevated to an extent that they're gonna go do better in life. So that's where I set out to my journey, and to this day, it has taken me to where I'm at today. Adam and I
That's beautiful.
will remain friends forever because we think alike. We're always looking out for the little guy, right?
That's right. Yep. I'll mention, that's why I got 21 over here always reminding me. That's Roberto Clemente. He said, if you're not taking care of the people that come behind you, you're wasting your time on this earth.
Ooh, wow.
He said behind, not below.
I'm
right? He said
that.
behind, in the circle, And so John and I do think alike, and I think everyone on the call here and many of the attendees, I'm sure, feel the same way. You know, it's a waste of time. It keeps us up at night.
Exactly.
John, I'll move on to the next one here, but let me just, I could list, knowing you, about a dozen or maybe even 20 things that you have accomplished in your life that at 20 years old, I would have said, there's no way I would be able to do that. So you're a true inspiration and visionary, and I'm proud to have you on here. Thanks for taking the time, and thank your associates there at your Marriott to allow us to borrow you for a few minutes here, man.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. I'm so happy to be a part of this, and looking forward to
Amen.
looking forward to some good times, doing some good things for others.
Thank you, John. Next up is a good friend and a mentor of mine, Dave Waldman. Also here in Charlotte, by the way, I should say that I am broadcasting live from Charlotte, North Carolina. Even though Chuck is in Dominican Republic right now, he is also in Charlotte. Dave is in the Charlotte area. Derek Farley is not in Charlotte, but you're just south in South Carolina, right nearby. A lot of love here in the Charlotte region. So Dave Waldman, hello, sir. It has been amazing getting to know you. Much like my friendships with some people on the call and others, we really with each other, and with the attitude of like, well, okay, that sounds good. Let's meet again. What we had to say, and I love listening to you. And then we just had another little cup of coffee together, and you know that's really grown into something beautiful for me. And I want to thank you for your mentorship and friendship. You're I labeled you as a food entrepreneur, right? And also you are an expert in mergers and acquisitions and tax advisory. You've done a lot in your life. Maybe you can start off with about some things that you've accomplished that you're proud of, and the who and the why.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you, Adam, your brother, and the rest of my team members here. I think what you're doing with Hospiamo is phenomenal, just to make an impact in the hospitality industry and give some sort of innovation, accomplishment, some skin in the game to some worthy family members, team members, employees, associates, community members, all working together to deliver a valued added service to people like you and I who just want a really great customer service experience. And I think in hospitality, you guys obviously work with Marriott and some of these other big brands. You know who the winners are, and some of the leaders, and some of the companies and their team leaders who may have a great brand, but it all comes down to the personnel. So what you're doing is really great. So, you know, my entrepreneurial journey began very, very young, and I'll just cut to the chase. After graduating from college in 1990, there wasn't many jobs to be had. There was a big recession, and I was able to work with my brother. My whole goal initially was to be able to one day wake up and be able to, you know, basically not punch a clock, to be able to do a lot of different things, to be a true entrepreneur and basically be able to take my talents and skills and interests and apply them to various endeavors, whether it's in real estate or sales or mentorship and entrepreneurship, like I did with my food brand. But you know, to be able to wake up in the morning and to be able to say, what am I going to pursue today, and not be tied so much to the clock, is something that I thought I would probably never have. And after a lot of work and a lot of relationship building, and I think that's really what the hospitality and business in general is about, relationship building. Here we are a number of years later, and I'm sitting with a bunch of great wingmen. So my mentor was in the streets of New York City. I represented a bunch of major janitorial, chemical companies, manufacturers whose sole clients were big distributors in the maintenance, food service, and hardware industries. and there was a company by the name of Chelsea Hardware in downtown Manhattan, not a typical hardware store. All those buildings, when you fly into Manhattan or Chicago or any huge city and see all those buildings, each one of those buildings is the equivalent of maybe 10, sometimes 5, 10, 20 different restaurant or hotels with thousands of people in many cases. The food, the maintenance, the chemical, the cleaning, just there's so many different avenues to maintain a building and a restaurant and all sorts of establishments. Chelsea Hardware sold to some of the biggest commercial management companies in the city and had thousands and thousands of square foot and 4 stories, which today is worth millions and millions. He's retired, but I went and tried to get into Chelsea Hardware for so many years and finally got Bernie on the phone, Bernie Goldenberg. And he's like, you're the guy that's been calling me for the last 6 months. If you want to meet me, I get to the office at 6 o'clock. I'll see you tomorrow. So I got up at about 3:30 in the morning because I live outside the city. I wanted to skip the traffic. I parked in front of Chelsea Hardware at 5:30 in the morning, took a nap. A few minutes later, I heard a knock on my window as I was napping. And I rolled down the window and some older gentleman said, you can't park here. This is illegal. You better get this damn car off the street. And I said, I'm sorry, sir. I'm here to see Bernie. I said, are you Dave? Well, it was Bernie Goldenberg getting to work at 5:45, met me, appreciated the fact that I got there early and my persistence and tenacity, finally was able to shake hands. And at 22 years old, I was able to build a relationship with him. He took me throughout the city, introduced me to building superintendents, hotel managers, and all the cream of the crop, and told me what building relationships was all about. The product is important, but it was secondary. They trusted Bernie, and it ended up for 4 or 5 years. I worked with Bernie, eventually retired and sold off his business, but that relationship has served me so well in business life. And so I hope everybody has a Bernie Goldenberg out there who makes you work.
And you showed up.
My person, that's my mentor, and I have others, but he was the main one who at a young age made a big impression on me.
Man, that's a beautiful story, man. That's tough. That's living in the big city and showing up and listening and even finding the mentor. Sometimes we don't know that that's the mentor in front of us, but then through that relationship and speaking and being yourself and listening, that's comes to fast forward a few years, right, Dave, to today where you're still considering him a
yeah,
and
that's what I want to do. Is I just want to give back. One of the reasons why I'm part of this group is I want to give back. That's the change in my life. I've been blessed through a lot of hard work and a lot of discipline and sacrifices. That's what life is all about. Moving forward, making big goals and small goals, and taking a few steps forward with a half a step back, as long as you're moving in the right direction. So one of the great things about you and what your brother are doing is, I want to be able to make an impact in a great industry, and it's wonderful what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Amen, David. Amen.
Quick plug, what Dave's referring to is Hospiamo. Hospiamo.com. You can learn all about us. Okay. You can do /Adam and you can connect with me. You can look me up on LinkedIn here. Not hard to find. Zembruski Charlotte Hotels. There's not a lot of Zembruski in the hotel business, but you can find me. And Matt is with Agile Game Changers. Matt is an Agile coach, Scrum Master, and as far as Agile project management, and learning about that myself, he told me a couple years ago when I was describing to him my way of being with people and management or leadership, whatever it might be, and learning. He goes, "You're an Agile coach." And I said, man, you know what? I just described people like John St. Omer. I described like every hotel general manager and restaurant manager that I ever worked with. And so, Matt, thank you for being you are my original mentor along with mom and dad from day one, man. Thank you. Derek Farley. Dave Waldman actually introduced me to Derek when I was in a tough spot. I was working on a project in Boone, North Carolina, one of my favorite call it projects, but environments and communities that I've ever experienced. It's life-changing for me. My friend John Cardonia, who's on here, I see John listening and making comments. John Cardonia was with us. Andrea Morton was with us, and we were helping some hotel owners and their own influential environment there that they have. And so the story was so unique in that it was technically an acquisition of a hotel, right? It was a very transactional type thing with, those are expensive, right? So, but the people involved kept reminding me like for a few months, and I was like, man, this story is just different. It's not just a hotel transaction where you type in, did that hotel sell? The people that were selling it, the people that built it, the people that were involved, the community leaders. I'll mention David Jackson with the Chamber of Commerce up there, amazing individual. All the people that were involved here. I just said, this story is different and I don't know how to tell it. And so I said, Dave, this is the struggle that I'm going through. And he said, you need to call Derek Farley.
Oh,
And
thank you.
that's what happened. And that was a couple years ago. And I did very smartly. And I'm so glad that I did. It was a wonderful experience. Derek ended up helping, I'll just say, tell that story, but in a way that I never thought was possible. It was a very unique story. So thank you for that, Derek. And thanks for spending the time on here.
Yeah.
You're an inspiration to me personally and professionally for many reasons. So your what, who, and why. We got a few more minutes, and I'm sorry to be a little chatty. Hopefully we can extend it if you want to, bro. I'm not sure. Yeah.
However you want to roll. I've been taking notes.
Yeah,
This
man.
whole thing. You want to talk about mentors? The mentor is actually on this phone, and we're not like a check-in everyday friendship, but he was the one person that absolutely kicked me in the rear end. We were having breakfast at the Big View Diner, and I was at the lowest point of my professional career. And he goes, you've got a black cloud over you. And I almost cried in the booth. But I also walked out of there with some inspiration and said, I've got to make some changes. I've got to do this right. And that was Dave Waldman. I mean, he really he just did not sugarcoat it. And he's like, I see so much potential, but you just look like you're down. And we all have highs and lows. I get that. I mean, I took notes from Chuck, and I'm preaching now, which is something I thought I'd never do. I grew up in a parsonage. I was, a preacher's kid in the house for 23 years, but I'm still a preacher's kid. And the one thing my dad always taught me is you never learn anything from the mountaintop. It's like a song I heard. Like it took me 17 years to get the mountaintop, and now that I'm there, I want to jump off. You don't learn anything from the mountaintop because all you do is look down on people. But when you're in the valley, the only place you can look is up. And that was a wonderful lesson that I learned from my father. And Dave put me in my place, and I got to tell you, I mean, I walked out of there and I've been a different person ever since. I started writing down goals and doing things and getting the pulpit. And I mean, there is power in the pulpit, man. I used to get prepared for sales meetings on the way to a sales meeting. You get in the pulpit for 16 minutes, you better have put 50 hours into it, because you're looking out at a congregation that is put on their Sunday best and taking their showers, and they want to be inspired. And it was wonderful. And I learned from the best. I mean, my goals are very clear. I just want to make a difference. And if you want to be different, if you want to make a difference, you got to be different. That's the deal. And the best thing that I learned from my father in a preaching capacity is that, a really good sermon is 3 points and a poem. And it's gone a long way. I've run a PR firm for restaurants for the past 3 years. Well, I've been doing it for 17, but throw the pandemic in there. I thought the pandemic was going to last about a month. I told everybody that I was in circles with not to go for that Super Bowl hangover where nobody wants to work the next day. It's going to be over. It's not over. It's still not over. But I managed it. I made it through. I cut all expenses and learned a lot of business lessons. But it was very telling. The one story, and I'll cut this short. I'm looking at the time.
Yeah, it's all good.
Just real quickly, go back to that 3 points in the poem. Here's the thing: everybody's important. Everybody's important. Everybody's important. I remember I caught a couple of what I call attitudinal millennials in the Food Line parking lot before my sermon that one Sunday, and they were making fun of a guy that was sweeping up cigarette butts in the parking lot. Most important job at Food Line is sweeping up cigarette butts on a Sunday morning. The most important job in a restaurant, and you'll get this, is the dishwasher. Can't open a restaurant if you don't have hot water. Can't function if you don't have a dishwasher. But everybody thinks that's the lowest point. No, it's not. It's the highest point. You treat superstars. You treat superstars like normal people, and you treat normal people like superstars. That's how I roll. So
Love that, man.
And so everybody's important. And I had a word of prayer in the Food Line parking lot with them, and I said, that guy's a devoted husband. He's been a great man for 31 years. How dare you? I wasn't confrontational, but I said, how dare you? Go over and talk to him. Tell him he's valued. And they did. They did.
Man.
Yeah, no partiality. No partiality. Everybody's equal. Everybody's important. And then just continue to care. There's a poem that I go to quite a bit in my presentation. It's like, there's a poet. No one thinks she's very good, but I like her. The way that nothing rhymes. And she sits there in a corner all alone. I wish the whole world could hear her just like me. You know what the name of the song is? Sometimes I wish I didn't care, but I do. And I think based on what I've heard from everybody on this call that you do, based on my Christian beliefs, I know that Christ does. I don't want to stop caring. I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference here. So that's I'm an underdog story. I grew up poor in West Virginia. Well, I grew up middle class in West Virginia. Probably make you poor anywhere else. But I've gotten good counsel from Dave and Jesus and my dad, and I always pay attention to people that are honest with me. I always say that I'd rather get punched in the face with honesty than a pat on the back with false. And that's my story. I won't ramble on, but I can, as you know. So.
So can I. That's we're an yeah.
Adam, before we go, I'd like to say something. Yesterday, I had an interview, and I asked the young man what would he like to ask of me, and he had said, "What's your organizational chart like?" And I told him my organizational chart is the opposite of what you think. The people on the top of that pyramid is my housekeepers, and all the people who do the grunt work. Amen. I'm at the bottom of that organizational chart, that pyramid.
Absolutely.
You're so right, Dave. It's exactly. So instead of it going the peak and me on top, I'm at the bottom, and all the people who make it work for me is on top.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll talk about some nuggets here today. We got some good ones. I want to acknowledge that we don't have any females on the call, and that was not done by any intention, but we are going to do this at least 10 more times, right, Matt? And I have a growing list of inspirational females and women in leadership with the like minds. I will say that today is Matt and our mom's birthday, May
Happy
25th.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And it's a wonderful day. I want to thank my dad, Matt, for being the original hospitality managers, right, of our life, and giving and doing that upside down pyramid. That's how we grew up, and I'm so lucky to have been fortunate for that. You all represent what I think is the greatest in humanity, philanthropy, being a great human. People love to be around you. And I love being around you. And we're going to continue to recognize those types of people in order to lift them up, help them if they need help, stay by their side. And that's what this is all about. And also making it very approachable for the younger generations to say, you can do it. You don't need to do blank, blank, blank and follow a textbook that says you need to do these 3 things. You just heard what you need to do. And they're the basics of being a good human and being kind to people and doing what you say that you're going to do and build trust. And so it's an honor for me to call you all friends and my brother. And so anything last words, Matt, before we sign off here? We almost did it. It's 36 minutes. We said we were going to do 30. Okay, next time we'll do 32 maybe, but we'll still keep the goal at 30. But thank you to all the viewers and everybody. I'm seeing all these names pop up, bro. People that I haven't worked with for 20 years. I see Melissa Rivera pop up here quite a bit, and she's doing a lot of hearts and stuff. We work together in the Langhorne, right? Langhorne, Pennsylvania with Hersha, John.
Yes.
And so just thank you to everybody. And what else to add? Anything, Matt?
Yeah, this is not a light ask. I know what you're putting into this. I've done nothing to this extreme or nothing to this extent, but I know that you're putting a lot of time in this, and it will make a difference. This is the tip of the iceberg, and the iceberg's beautiful. And I want to commend you for just putting your whole heart into it. I mean, we talked for an hour the other day. I don't talk to people for an hour, but I liked your vision, and I liked everything that you're talking about. And I want to be your storyteller at some point. And this group, I'm super impressed by. I mean, I've always been a Waldman fan completely, and I've become your fan, and I like everybody else that I've talked to today. Chuck touched me in a couple different ways, but just thank you for the effort. I know it's not easy. It's not to take on a venture like this, but you've got some good people on here, and I don't know how I made the list, but I am grateful, completely grateful.
Well, thank you, Derek. That's really nice of you to say. It's all over our website. It's the website of Hospiamo. I just started it just by typing stuff up, right? The things that just what you just said about what are we trying to do here, and a consistent message is that nothing is impossible if you surround yourself with people that lift you up and are side by side with you, and that show up, that just show up. And just say John came back in there, and so I really truly believe that. And thanks, Derek, and thanks for everything. Thank you, Chuck, Dave, Derek, John, bro. You want to finish up here? Call it a little whipped cream on the ice cream.
Yeah, sure. We'll wrap it up because I know we're over time now. We had a little mic issue with yours at the end, bro. I don't know what happened, but you got it fuzzy. You could still hear you. It just
it wasn't interruptive. It was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine.
Yeah, we'll fix that for next time. It only happened in the last.
Did you get the happy birthday, Mom?
Yes. No, we can
Yes,
hear
we
that.
got
Okay, good. That was the most important thing. That was
You
the
might
most
have, you might
important.
have a cell phone close to a speaker near where you are or something like that. I don't know. Something happened toward the end. But yeah, we're wrapping up. So thank you very much. For those of you who are coming on or didn't hear the intro or didn't plug into much of this, Hospiamo is onto something really big here. There's a lot of industry changing plans that are in the works. There's a lot of good stuff going on. I just posted out to all the different streams. Go to hospiamo.com/Adam. Book some time with Adam. Get on his calendar, talk it out, and go from there. But thank you all for joining. Thank you, Dave, Chuck, Derek, John. Thank you, bro. What a great day. This is a great stream. There was more to come. So thank you all. Enjoy your day.
Same to
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly.
Good job,
Thank you.
guys.
Great job. Great job. Great job.
Okay. Awesome.